In the fourth video in this series, we'll look at how you will approach the wave, with mindfulness or with mindlessness. Hello, Sharif here, and this is the latest video in the series of short explanations for what I'm calling the wave and what your role in dealing with the wave is. And I want to explain to you something about that role. If you saw the movie Deep Impact, this is the one where an asteroid is coming to the Earth and will collide with the Earth, and they send a space team up to impact the asteroid. This is not the one with Bruce Willis. This is the one with Morgan Freeman as the president. And all these things are going on. There's a lottery of who gets to be saved, who doesn't, etc. And everybody waits until the last possible minute and then go running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Everybody puts all their gear into their camper and they drive out to the highway to get away and instantly create a 20-mile traffic jam because everybody tried to do the same thing at the same time. They had no plan and they had 18 months to deal with it. Now, that was an amazingly credible part of this movie, because that's what the majority of people are going to do. That's what the people who have been aware of me, aware of Commonwealth Institute, have done for the past 30 to 35 years. When I went to Russia and said, our political system could collapse like Russia, everybody went, oh, really? That's, thank you for sharing, Sharif, and that was that. When I went to Argentina and said, our economic system could collapse like theirs, we need to do something, and people said, oh, gee, thank you for sharing, Sharif, and that was all that happened. And so what I'm saying now is we're boiling down to 3 to 6 months before something happens. And what most people, the people who are listening to my voice, are going to do is say, oh, gee, thanks a lot, Sharif, for sharing. No one's going to sign up for the practicing the 12 steps of inclusivity. And then, when it happens, when you see the alien spaceships, or when the coronal mass ejection takes place, or you will then start running around, throw your stuff in the car, and take your place in the 20-mile traffic jam. I am expecting most people to do that. I am hoping there's going to be enough people, a handful of people, who will say, no, we can't do that. We're going to have to step up. We're going to have to become the leaders of a new society. We have to become mindful. And I am the one who has to demonstrate that mindfulness in my community. I'll tell you one story that you may have heard me say before, and then I'm going to get into the 3 different ways that we are going to be approaching the wave. So this is a story I heard regarding the events that happened when Mount St. Helens blew its top some years ago. There was actually a geologic survey team that was on the mountain when the largest landslide and eruption happened in U.S. history. This team of people in 2 vehicles, as the mountain is shaking, one of the people, a man, says, Run for your lives, we're all going to die. And the leader of the team, who was a woman, said, stop saying that. It's not helpful. And while the mountain is still shaking, while there's this huge cloud of material going up into the sky, she said, we're going to do a survey of all the equipment in these two vehicles. We're going to take what we need with us, and we're going to walk off this mountain together. And they did the survey, they took the chainsaws, they left the vehicles, they took the water, and all of them made it off the mountain together. That's what I'm calling mindfulness. The run for your lives, we're all going to die, is what I'm calling mindlessness. It's a fear-based response. And we have to teach ourselves to not do the fear-based response, even in the face of situations that could evoke a fear reaction. We have to choose not to be afraid. So, of the three elements of how we will approach the wave, we can approach it with mindfulness, we can approach it with mindlessness, or we can approach it with control. You've heard me talk about our shift from the caterpillar to the butterfly. The caterpillar is control. Let's stay a caterpillar. Let's even though everything is falling apart, I'm still going to try to be a caterpillar here. The butterfly are those of us who are going to be mindful and be responsive and be looking at our future in the face of the wave. And the mindless folks are the goo. That's the stuff that's in the middle that will eventually become butterfly, but while they're in pure reaction mode, are going to be part of the goo. Those of us who are mindful will be the new visionaries and the new leaders of a society. We know who the caterpillar is. It's all the old leaders. And the folks in the majority are just going to be yelling and screaming, "Save me, save me." We, the leaders of a new society, will be riding the wave. We're going to be focused on life. We're not going to be focused on preserving my own individual life, although we will. We're going to be focused on what is best for life as a whole. We will come to the recognition that there is and will be no solo solutions. That it's not a matter of I won the lottery, I'm going to get in the cave and I'm going to pull the covers in over me and I'm the one that's going to survive. What's really going to happen is all of us together will walk off the mountain together. The mindless folks will turn up the volume on the television and turn up the volume on all their social media distractions until they can't do it any longer. And then they're going to turn on the mindful folks saying, "It's all your fault. You're the one that kept me mindless." So we know what the mindless folks will be doing. They'll turn to drugs, they'll turn to fear, they'll turn to apathy, they'll turn to violence against themselves and violence against each other. But we need to look at what's going to happen with the ones who want to be in control. We know that they're going to be holding on to the status quo. They're going to be supporting the elites who will be in the society. They will blame everything on those of us who are saying you should have done something different. They're going to be generating false information, because that's a tool of control. And they're going to be fall into the tools of suppression. Tool number one being the media, tool number two being the guns. We will approach this in a completely different way. We'll approach it with the calm that's inside of ourselves. We'll approach it from the point of view of how do we bring the maximum good to the maximum amount of life. Not just human life. Not just, me first, screw you. But how do we do this for the life for all? How do we use this opportunity to create a world that literally works for all living beings? I've been inviting you through these videos to join us in an opportunity to look at the 12 steps of inclusivity, and to use that as an opportunity to launch ourselves forward into a whole new reality. I can't tell you what's going to happen. Even if I could, I wouldn't tell you what's going to happen. I will tell you that our values will get us through it. I will tell you that our love for ourselves, our love for each other, our love for our community, and our love for our planet, our love for the divine will get us through this. So I'll be talking a little bit more about who you must become in order for us to make it through these times. So thank you. Our workshop on practicing the 12 steps of inclusivity starts on the 2nd of February. Please click on the links in the comment section below this video in order to find out more about how you can sign up for the workshop.